What is a safety plan for prevention? A safety plan is just that. It is a plan that you make when you are not in crisis about what you will do when you are in crisis. This is especially useful for people who are struggling with a mental health condition. Perhaps they have been diagnosed as bipolar or schizophrenic or, a depressive disorder, things that we know are perhaps more closely tied to thinking about suicidal ideation, thinking about dying, attempts or or follow through on suicide. A safety plan, and this is something I'm going to go into next week in a lot more depth. But let's talk about kind of the short version. A safety plan is something that you put in place. The person who the safety plan is for needs to be the key player in putting together the safety plan. Somebody else can maybe help you get some of the information and put it together and, what it is you chose. But the safety plan needs to be written by the person that's going to use it. And it needs to have some options. So let's pretend like it's my safety plan. What that would mean is that I have a plan in place that says, okay, if I go off my meds, or if I start having dark thoughts, or if I start having ideation, I am going to do the following. I'm going to call my best friend. But here's the thing. What if my best friend doesn't answer? Maybe she's sick with the flu. Maybe she's camping that day. Maybe she's out of range. Maybe she dropped her phone in the toilet and it doesn't work. Whatever. A safety plan means that you have what is next. So my safety plan is I'm going to call my best friend. I can't get a hold of my best friend. I'm going to call my other best friend. I can't get a hold of either one of those. Then I'm going to get in touch with somebody, or I'm going to go to the nearest urgent care, or I am going to go to the nearest emergency room. I am going to go somewhere in public until I can reach one of the people on my safety plan. Maybe I'm going to go to the library. Maybe I'm going to go to, um, let's use the library for the example. Maybe I'm going to go to the library because it is a safe place, it is a quiet place. There are resources there. There's air conditioning or heat, depending on the time of year. Here's the thing, libraries aren't open 24/7. So, what if I'm in crisis at 3 o'clock in the morning and the library isn't open? If that's the third thing on my list, okay, I can't get a hold of my best friend. I can't get a hold of my other best friend. The library's closed. This is somebody who's now working through their steps. There can be a place of too many steps, which leads to this isn't working. So you need to have really succinct information, and you need to have it really drilled into this is what I choose for me when I'm in a healthy state. And these are the steps that I'm going to do. If I start to feel too frustrated, I am just going to go to the emergency room. If I've made 3 phone calls and I can't get through, I'm going to go to the emergency room. It doesn't have to be the emergency room. It could be your local urgent care. It could be maybe a facility that you have stayed at before, where somebody there on staff can stay with you until someone else can take over and help you. There's nothing wrong. Hear me. Hear me. There is nothing wrong with dialing 911 and saying, I'm having, I need help. I can't do this. I need help. I need somebody here now. That's acceptable. You can actually use 911 for that. Of course, there's other things like 988. So I can't get a hold of my mom. I can't get a hold of my brother. I am going to call 988. That's an example of something that can be on your emergency plan. So that emergency safety plan is in place as a net to help catch you if you get to that dark place. Maybe you are a veteran and you're going to call your uh, brother from your unit, or your sergeant that you made close friends with, or maybe you're going to go to your local VFW. Maybe you're going to go to your local American Legion. Maybe you're going to go to your local fleet. Not to drink. This is important because a lot of times people will say, oh, well, I'm going to go, my plan is to go here. And then we know that if you're already having these dark thoughts, if you're already needing to use your safety plan, drinking is not what you need to be doing. So if your plan is, okay, well, I'm going to go to my neighborhood bar, it needs to be because you have made a connection with somebody there that's willing to leave the bar with you or sit with you or take you into the patio or take you into an office and sit with you and help you get a hold of somebody else that's on your safety plan. Does that make sense? So it is something that is individual for the person who's going to be using it, for the resources and relationships that they have, and for what they foresee their needs to be, especially if they have a mental health diagnosis where they are perhaps prone to going off of their medication. Maybe that medication, when it's not in their system fully, means that they're hearing voices or that they're seeing things that no one else is seeing. And that person is going to have different needs than somebody who is just feeling overwhelmed. So I hope that makes sense. It's kind of a short and condensed version. Next week, like I said, I am going to be going into safety plan a lot deeper, but make sure you know who your people are and get them in your phone and get them in your wallet. What if you lose your phone? If I lost my phone, I would not have phone numbers. Straight up, would not have them. So if I needed a safety plan and it was only in my phone, I wouldn't really have a safety plan. But if I had the phone numbers also written down in my wallet, then I would have access. So that is another important aspect too about, well, where am I going to find it? If I only have my safety plan at home in my bedroom table next to my bed, that's not going to help me if I'm an hour and a half across town and I'm in an emergency situation now. Again, remember, it is perfectly acceptable to use 911.